Oh, Yud Omid base. Let's have a look as we're moving along. As yes, we were talking last week about back to the whoop.
You take some of the food.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Took the piece out and then yeah. Okay, fine. I'm just gonna get a picture of you. It's fine, as long as you have. I'm glad you have.
I think, Peter, we can put people on.
I used to make a picture of
Oh, that's a bit better. Laurie, good to see you.
Good to see you. After, how was your simcha?
Yeah, Baruch Hashem, very nice indeed.
Good, good.
And on we go. And here we are. Yes, Yud Omid base. And we're just towards the top. It's at the third line down. Let's have a look here. Hold on a minute. It's good. Here we are. Rav Chamo bar Chanina, posach lo pischo lahai parshoso mehocho. And what does that mean? Well, the translation is he would open up with the introductory remarks when discussing this parsha. Have a look at the third line down of Rashi. You find very similar Gemara actually, and quite a much lengthier than here in Megillah. When they were discussing the topic, they would start off. So in other words, it might be quite an involved halachic discussion, but they would start off and is an introductory piece. So let's have a look at the third line in Rashi. Oh, that's better, Mark. Yeah, you can see well now. Third line down, posach lo pischo. Kishahoya roitza lidrosh b'parshas rotzchim. When he want to expound on and discuss, Sam, when discussing the parsha of rotzchim, good evening, Yud Omid base, third line down in Rashi, when this particular Amoira, this is Rav Chama bar Chanina, when he would introduce, this is how he would begin with an introductory comment from Psukim before he would get involved in perhaps some lengthy halachic points. And what did he say? He would mention this pasuk. You often found this idea. You find actually, I don't know if people ever seen the Pirush Rabbeinu Bachya on the Torah, and he starts off every Sedra mentioning often, actually almost always, I think it's from Mishlei. Starts off with Mishlei and then he moves into the Sedra. And a lot of people do the same here. You could say starting with some, not Agada, but quoting other psukim and then moving in to the subject in more detail. And what would he start with? Here we are, this pasuk. This is Tehillim Chof Hei Ches, I think. Tov v'yosho Hashem al kein yorech hatoim badorach. You'll see in a minute how this links in to the psukim we mentioned last time. What is this pasuk? Tov v'yosho Hashem. Hashem is good and upright. Al kein yorech hatoim badorach. What do you mean yoreh? Yoreh normally is to teach, lead, to teach. He teaches sinners the way. He gives an opportunity for sinners. What's that got to do with anything? Obviously, remember, and this follows from last week. Last week we were talking about, remember, it says, Tochin l'cho haderech, when we were discussing about the psukim, which mentioned that there were signposts everywhere saying this is the way to the Ori Miklot, so that the person who'd killed accidentally can rush off there without meeting up with the Goel Adom. And I see there's much more about that later. The nearest of the person who was killed can, if he wants to, kill the murderer. Well, don't forget he's murdered accidentally. But we've got all these things, and we've mentioned this point before. We seem to be bending over to try and accommodate this person who killed accidentally. Yes, it was accidental. However, there was some part of it was some negligence, but nevertheless, we're trying to get him. We want him to survive. We want him to be rehabilitated. So we're doing what we can, and that's the beautiful posuk there. Tobi Yosha, the posuk in Tehillim. Al ken yorech hatoim baderech. He teaches the sinners, and that's beautiful. That word baderech, the same word we mentioned before. Remember, tochin lecho haderech, posuk in Devarim, that there are road signposts everywhere telling and helping the sinner. We do want the sinner, we mentioned the word rehabilitation. We want him to come back. We want him to be more concerned in the future. But we do what we can, or the psukim do, and to try and help him out. Says the Gemara, and this presumably was the end of his drasha, this Rab Choma Bar Chanina, when he was expounding on some halacha, im lachatoim yoreh, if he shows the right way to chatoim kavachomer latzadikim, certainly Hashem will be leading people, and often happens to many people, that you say, wow, it just so happened that, inverted commas, that I was led to this particular conclusion, decision, something that happened to me. Hashem will be leading them along the right path. As we say, if he does that for sinners, how much more so for people who are not? They will find that in their lifetime, they'll be able to say that Hashem's been leading me along this particular way. Wonderful way to start. And then, presumably, as I say, he would expound on some other halacha. Says the Gemara, Rosh Lakish, Reb Shimon ben Lakish, Posach lo pischa, he would open up the door, really, or open up the subject, Lahai Parshosa, exactly the same as we saw before, on this subject. If he was talking about, as we said here, accidental murder, was talking about going to Golus, he would start with the following posuk. And the posuk, we've had this many times before in Shemos, in Mishpotim. V'asher lo tzodo v'elokim ino leyodoi. What does it mean, asher lo tzodo? Tzodo is, the word tzod is normally to try and capture, talking about animals or anybody, could be for humans too. Someone, asher lo tzodo, he didn't lie in wait to kill this individual. What it really is telling us, that posuk, and we've got that in Shemos Chof Aleph, that if somebody was not lying in wait, meaning he did not kill this individual intentionally, then leave out those couple of words, V'elokim ino leyoda, but the end of the posuk says, I'm going to give the samti. You may have the posuk around the side of your Gemara. Won't bother you yet, Peter. Your time will come. But the posuk concludes of the samti lechomokim. I will give a place. I will make a place for him so that he could run and flee to that place, and then he will be saved. But notice those words, V'elokim Hashem ino liyodo. When this individual was killed, it was Hashem ino liyodo. What does that mean? Hashem caused, that's ino, caused, if you like. Ino liyodo, caused it to happen to his hands. This is the person who killed accidentally. He caused him to kill this other individual. Interesting, those extra words there. Well, Akim ino liyodo. And you've got the Gomer in the Gemara, because it's the end of that posuk which says, and I will give him a place that he can flee to. Says the Gemara, Kashe Yomar. Now, Mishal or Moshal HaKadmoni. What does that mean? It's Kashe Yoma. If you look around the side of the Gemara, there's the Hagos Habach, who says what it should say is, this is what the pasuk means when it says, Kashe Yoma, Moshel HaKadmoni. A moshel, like the word mishle, a proverb of old. What's hakadmoni? Of old kadmon. It really means of the old one, kadmoni, but I think O with a capital O. The old one, meaning we'll see, Meirashoim Yetze Resha. Now, this pasuk is from Shmuel Aleph. Mishal hakadmoni, mishal from the word moshal. This is what they call a construct. It's the moshal of the old one, the ancient one, the old one. Meirashoim Yetze Resha. So we're going back to this pasuk, talking about someone fleeing the place that's where he can run to. And it says Hashem caused this to happen. What do those extra couple of words mean? Hashem caused it. Well, of course, it's all in Biyad Hashem, but why is that particularly mentioned there? So now we've got this pasuk in Shmuel which says, Kasha Yoma, as it is said, Mishala Kadmoni, a proverb of the old one. Don't worry about this meaning yet. Meirashoim Yetze Resha. What does it mean, Meirashoim? Meirashoim means from the wicked people. Yetze Resha, wickedness will come out from the wicked people. What does that mean, that pasuk? Let's have a look at the Gemara here. And don't forget, we're trying to understand those three words. Ve'elokim inon yodai. Says the Gemara, beginning of the line, Bameh hakosuv medaber. What is this talking about? Says the Gemara, Bishnei b'nei Odom. What's this idea that from wicked people comes wickedness? And we're going to put that back into our posuk. Ve'elokim inon yodai. Hashem arranged this, that he should kill this person accidentally. We'll see in a minute. B'shnei b'nei Odom shehorgu es hanefesh. There are two people who killed. Echod horag b'shogeg, ve'echod horag b'mezid. One person killed accidentally. One person killed on purpose, if you like, b'mezid, intentionally. So, continues the Gemara. Lo zeh, beginning of the line, ein edim. There are no witnesses for one of them. But lo zeh ein edim. Both of them do not have any witnesses that can come forward, so that both those individuals who killed aren't going to be killed, aren't going to be going to Golos. And we mentioned before, Golos isn't only a place, it's also part of the oynish, the punishment is he cannot live at home. He's got to go to the Ori Miklot. With this person, there's no witnesses. If there are no witnesses, he doesn't go to Ori Miklot, and also the Gal Adom can't kill him because it has not been pronounced that he killed accidentally. Similarly, the person who killed intentionally, nothing happens to him because there are no witnesses. Okay. Says the Gemara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mazminon punduk. HaKadosh Baruch Hu arranges that they meet up in a punduk. What's a punduk? A place, you could say a motel, but a punduk, a place. An inn, thank you very much. Yes, indeed. They're both going to meet at this punduk. It's all, that's what it means, Hashem. Now we're going back to, we can understand slowly The meaning of Hashem will arrange biyodo. We'll see, watch this. Have a look at the Rashi first, though, before we take this further. Have you got the Rashi? Hashem make this, caused it to happen that he killed accidentally. What's that talking about? What are those words coming to teach us? Have a look at the fourth line down. She'omar kosov kashe yoma, as the Pasuk says, on Moshel Hakadmoni. Have you got it in the first narrow line of Rashi? A proverb of the old one, Kadmon, first, earlier one. What's that mean? From wicked people, wicked things happen. And what is that talking about? First of all, says Rashi, Mishal Hakadmoni, the proverb of the old one. It's referring to Hi HaTorah. That's referring to the Torah. Shehi Mishel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or Mishal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, different Gesos here. This is the words of Hashem. Shehu Kadmoino Shel Olam, beginning of the line of Rashi. He is the ancient one, the former one before the world that existed. He Omro, and that's what's said. If you look in the Torah, and the Torah means the whole of Tanakh, Me'rishoim Yeitzei Resha, from evil people, evil things will happen. V'heichan Omro, what is this talking about? It's talking about our very Pasuk. V'Elokim ino liyoda, Hashem caused it to happen to his hand that he killed accidentally. Vahicha Kodesh Baruch Hu. How is that? What does it mean? Why is the Torah telling us this point? HaKadosh Baruch Hu mamtzi michshol. The stumbling block happens. La'odom lachto. What does it mean? Hashem's causing this individual to kill accidentally. No, it's referring to a particular case, and nobody should ever think that people get away scot-free. Both these two individuals are Rishoim. One actually killed intentionally, certainly a Rosha, and one killed, even though it's accidentally, that's still considered Rishoim because, as we said before, there was a certain amount of negligence involved. Right? Continue Rashi. Ha-horeg v'hanerag. In the case we're going to look at, there are two individuals meeting up at this inn. Ha-horeg, someone's going to be killing. V'hanerag, someone who will be killed. Ha-horeg hoyachayev golus. The one who kills now in this inn, he's killing the other individual. He was already chayav golus. Ve'ein eid badov. We said before, both these individuals, some time back, killed. One killed unintentionally, and that's the person who's going to kill someone here. And that's Welakim in Yodo. Wait. V'hu lo gola. He didn't go to Golus because there were no witnesses at that time. Vahanerag, the one who's killed at the inn, Hoyo Chayev Misa. He was Chayev, the death penalty, but Ein Eid Vadova. There were no witnesses there that can come to court, and therefore he also got off scot-free. V'lo Nerag, he was not killed. He should have been killed. Lefichoch HaKadosh Baruch Hu mezamnon lepunduk echod. They meet up in this inn. Back to the Gemara, please. Have you got the word lepunduk? Second narrow line up in the Gemara. They meet up in this punduk echod, a certain inn. Zeh shehorag b'mezid. The one who killed intentionally. He's sitting underneath a ladder or whatever. You can come up with that in case you like. The one who killed accidentally, he's the one going down the ladder. And he falls off the ladder. V'nofal olov, and fell on top of the other individual. This is just a dogma, an example. Vaharogo, and killed the other individual at the inn. Woohoo! Now we've found that the punishments fit both these individuals. The one who killed intentionally is nerag, he's killed. There are people around in this inn, a lot of people, probably having their meal or whatever at the inn. They saw this event happening. He now has to go. B'shogeg, go, and he killed unintentionally. He now will have to go to Golos. You with me? And that's going back now to our original posuk, where we said, "V'elokim ino liyodai." Hashem will sort these out. A very important message here, saying nobody gets away with it. That's what we're saying. So even though I might have thought that this person who killed intentionally, well, there were no witnesses there. He's fine. He's got away with it. No. It's noted above, and something will happen, and he will not get away with it. Nobody should ever think that they will get away with the action. And the same, of course, with the positive mitzvahs. Nobody should think, well, this good deed that I did, I didn't receive any more. Don't worry about that. The reward will come your way in many different forms. We don't really understand how, when, where, but it will come. And of course, infinity is a long time. So time, whether this world or the coming world, we're not quite sure when, but always things there will be, as I say, the justice will be carried out. Nobody get away. People get away with things, and sadly,
Norman, presumably
yes,
the delay between the punishment and the crime is also an opportunity for a tshuva, right?
yes,
So
indeed.
Depending on the nature of the crime, will depend on the nature of the tshuva that could be achieved, I guess.
Yes, absolutely right. Yes, and presumably there were no witnesses there, whatever the reason was, giving both of them opportunities. Because, yeah, you're right. If they haven't carried out the penalty here, then there's nothing that can be done here. So it's left to the court above, the heavenly court, to decide what to do. And you're absolutely right that gives an individual the time to be able to do teshuvah. And then maybe this story about the inn will perhaps finish on a happier note. They'll both end up having supper together rather than going up and down the ladder. And so, yes, they're given an opportunity. You're quite right. Sometimes there's some individuals who, whatever the reason was, maybe that was the point of particularly one killing accidentally. It was very close to being onus, but it needs maybe an opportunity. At least he's not going to Golos, but do show some remorse, show some concern that you really are very upset about it. If that happens, then maybe yes, that would have been sufficient. But you're right, giving time for the person to be able to do teshuvah. But otherwise, nobody should ever think, wow, he got away with it. And even, it's hard to mention that, but, even in case of people think they can get away with it with a suicide. Oh, no, they do not get away with it. Strange to perhaps to mention, we're going back 80 years ago or so. We're thinking about Adolf Hitler. People think in fact, of course, that's he didn't even suffer being killed here. He took the cowardly way, as we all know, and I'm not going into spending a lot of time on that now, the cowardly way of suicide, of course, killing his wife first, but suicide, which means in Shemayim, it's going to be a very interesting, I mean, as we say, infinity is a long time. To suffer for infinity is a very long time. So for an individual who didn't receive any punishment in this world at all, now the others, we're not going through into the trials and everything else. Of course, what happens in heaven, that's not our concern. They went through something here, and they were killed and everything, and the embarrassment and everything else. Which takes something. I mean, it's hardly anything, but whereas somebody who's, the cowardly way, with no punishment at all here, there is a huge amount waiting for such an individual. So I'm mentioning that here, the same with mitzvahs too. That we often talk about this, that they're great tzaddikim, and it looks from the outside that they really seem to be suffering here. Who knows what's in store for these individuals? In heaven, in the Hashem. So nobody should ever think you get away with something. You do not get away with it. You may be able to get away from the tax man, but when it comes to deeds, well, even the tax man, maybe that's against the din of the malchusa, as they say. So no, we won't go into that now. But that's the point. Nothing gets lost, and that's really what we're saying here in the case of the Moshe Lakamani. So it's a beautiful way that he would start introduce this is Rav Chomi Bar Chanina. Okay, on we go. Says the Gemara, Omer Rabba Bar Huna. Omer Rav Huna. That's interesting. It sounds like he's saying that in the name of his father. Omer Rabba Bar Rav Huna. Omer Rav Huna. That's always he's saying in the name of someone. And it's a different Rav Huna, probably not. So in other words, he's saying a statement in the name of his father. And this is Omri lost. Some people say no. We're always very keen to know exactly where the statement came from. So we need to know whether does it fit with what he said elsewhere. Also, to ensure, as with everything else, you want to make sure not just who the person was who said this, and it shows the authenticity of something to where we really do pin down exactly who it is who said this. Okay. Actually, there was a couple of Rashis we didn't finish yet. But remember, what is that pasuk talking about? Remember, Noifel Ola Bahorgo. Remember, at the end he falls and kills him. That's very important. The Rashis pointed out here, you see, because otherwise the person who killed accidentally will only go to Golus if there were witnesses that saw this happen. So Rashi actually points that out. The Gemara doesn't, but Rashi points it out, perhaps obvious. V'yesh eidim. Of course, there are witnesses that in the inn seeing this whole thing happening. V'yigle al kocha. Now he really will have to go to Golus because there are people who saw this second event that happened. Okay. Now, I'm going back to the second wide line of the Gemara, and some people say this in the name Omer Rav Huna, Omer Rab Loza. Okay, Rav Huna in the name is Rab Loza. Mina Torah, Mina Vim, Mina Ksuvim. From the Torah, the whole of Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim. It's interesting, worth remembering that sometimes the Gemara, and you often find that in Rashi, where Rashi uses the word Torah, he's taking in a wider sense, meaning Tanakh. Here we really, when we say the Torah, when you mention Nevi'im and Ksuvim, then of course you do just mean the 5 books. I've got a question for Mervyn, or a yellow hand up there. Not a red.
There's only a small point. Have you, is it used in any other place? I mean, what's the shurish of the?
Sorry, which word? I'm sorry, which word?
Ino.
Oh yeah, ino. Yeah, it's Aleph Nun Hey. Interesting word. Ino. Causing something, yeah.
The shurish is Aleph Nun Hey. Does it have any other
Ino.
Yeah, any other
Appear anywhere else?
anywhere else?
Ino. Yeah, lo su'una elecha ro'o. You do find that word coming up. Will not happen. Makes something happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so
yes, it does occur elsewhere. A good one. It is an interesting root. Aleph Nun Hey. Eno.
But not tu'una, which is an accident. Tu'una.
Yes, Eno. He makes it happen. It makes it come to his hand. That's talking about the person who killed accidentally. Yeah. What are those extra words coming to tell us? And according to this, coming.
No, I'm not disputing.
I understand. No, you understand the Eno, Aleph Nun Hey in the PL. Yes, so Mr. Myers would be keen on that one. Eno with Eno Liodo. Okay, on we go. Eno. Yes, of course you'd have a dogish and a nun, wouldn't you? In the PL, Eno Liodo. Anyway, back to our Gemara, second wide line. From Minatora, third wide line. From the Nevi'im and Kesuvim, we find this very interesting statement, which continues what we said before. Don't worry, we will come back to Makkas in a moment. But beforehand, B'derech she'odom rotze leilech. Mentioned that in the Rambam. And if you look around the side of the Gemara, you can see the Rambam quotes this. As you can see there, in Hilchos Teshuvah, twice in Hilchos Teshuvah, in the Rambam. B'derech she'odom rotze leilech, the way a person wants to go, molichin osoi, he is taken that way. In other words, if a person's keen on following a particular, following up on certain actions, you'll see in a minute, then he will be allowed to do that. Let's see the examples you'll see. The Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim. So we start off with the story of Bilam. Now, Bilam was being asked to curse Klal Yisrael. And remember, when the visitors came from Bolok, sent to him, he made an excuse and said, well, rather than just saying, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to curse Klal Yisrael. They'd all heard about what happened to Klal Yisrael. They'd heard coming up now, Yetzias Mitzrayim, Kriyas Yamsuf, the giving of the Torah. But he hummed and hawed and said, well, yeah, I've come with some other people, but not you. But he really wanted to go. Otherwise, he would have said no. Rather, he said, well, yeah, I'm saying no now because I think I deserve a little bit more honor than this. I need the greater people as shluchim, messengers, asking me to do this. And this was to curse Klal Yisrael. Remember? What did the Pasuk say? Fourth wide line down. Lo seilechi mohem. Don't go with them. Uchsiv, and the Pasuk after that does say, kum leich itom. Oh. Go with them. Now, this time, if you don't mind, Peter, let's have a look at some of these psukim. This is in Bamidbar, Chof Beis, Yud Beis. Oh, that was quick. Well done there. Hashem told him, don't go with them. Look at the next pasuk, 13. 13 says, Bilam got up, scrolled down a little bit. Vayokom Bilam, Kimein Hashem nisiti lahaloich imochem. He adds that word. Hashem doesn't want me to go with you. Doesn't say Hashem doesn't want me to go full stop. It doesn't want to go with you. I think if you double click on that posuk, let's have a look at the commentary. You got the posuk there? No, sorry, that's my mistake. Let's go back. Go back to. I don't know how you do it. Resources, probably. Resources. No, you don't want Bilam. Go. All right. Just scroll to the next posuk above and below. Press, oh, there, that's good. Can we go to commentaries or resources? Press resources there on the, yeah. What does that come up with? Comes up to commentary. Let's have a look at Rashi. Let's have a look at Rashi. Oh, let's have a look at the Hebrew, and then we can look at the English as well. Hashem doesn't let me go with you. Elo, he adds that point, which of course Hashem had not said. He says, Elo im sorim gedolim mikem. Oh, it's not right that I should go with people like you. I need greater messengers. Lo manu sheruch gavah. From there you see how now you can turn on the English to press the A. Yeah, but only with princes great, and you knew this tells us that he was a proud nature. He didn't want to divulge that he was under the control of Hashem, except in arrogant terms, with you. And that's why, of course, Balak then sent him other people. Okay, let's go back to the Psukim. But what happened in the end? Keep going down. So other people come. Now, if you get to 20, 90, I am giving you permission now to go. And that's the message we're mentioning here, because he was so keen really to go. Hashem allowed him to follow that path, didn't stand in his way. Now that's the Gemara here. There is a beautiful Vilna Gaon. Now look, it says, you can go with them. Can you see that? And that's what we've been focusing on today in the Gemara. Eventually Hashem allows him, if somebody wants to do something, and they show how keen they are to do something, whether it's a mitzvah or not, they are allowed to continue in that path. But they're allowed to go that way. But notice the next pasuk, 21. So he goes. Im sorei ma'av. Now look at pasuk 22. Vayicha af Elokim ki holechu. He says incensed, angry that he was going. Why is Hashem angry when we just saw in that previous pasuk 20, scroll the other way, Hashem said he could go with him. Kum leich itom. So why is he angry with him? Now, there's a most beautiful Vilna Gaon. He gave him permission to go, but notice crucially the word kum leich itom. Go with them. S. Secondary. You often find the word S as an object. S. He said, go with them. But look what he does. Pasuk 21. Vayelech, he doesn't say Vayelech es, sorry, im, sorry, Moila. He goes together with. Says the Vilna Gaon, and we can now go by looking. Thank you very much, Peter. Are we there? Hold on. Yes, we've got the back. Crucial. Hashem says, you want to go? I'll let you go. However, kum leich itom. Itom means with them. Imom also means with them. Very important difference. S means in a secondary nature, meaning you go with them, but not with the same intentions they have. I'm letting you go, but go with them, and we'll see exactly what your job will be. Your intention to be, yes, I'm allowing you to go because you want to go, but bear in mind, not with the same thoughts that the messengers have. But what does he do? The next day, Vayelech im sorei Moav. He went with them with the same intention that they had. He was really planning to curse now. And therefore, Vayicha af Elokim Hashem's angry, incensed there, because he told him, go with you in a secondary capacity, meaning you're not planning necessarily to curse Klal Yisrael. You can go with them. You want to go with them. You want to get all this money. Fine, go. I'm not going to stand in your way. But bear in mind that you're going, if you like, under my permission, and therefore what I want you to carry out. But that's not what he did. He went with them thinking, I'm now going to actually curse them. And therefore, Hashem was angry because Hashem, knowing that his intentions were not as the permission he'd been given. The permission was to go with them in a secondary nature, and he's going with the same intentions they have. Therefore,
a way to remember maybe im is like a people united.
Yeah, very good, excellent. Yeah, he may be united with the same thoughts and the same intentions. Good one. Yeah, very good. So that really is that's very good. As opposed to S, which is always of a secondary nature, we find that in a direct object, often use the word S. So then that's good, excellent. What's that, Peter? Got some visitors there. Good, on we go. Right. As we continue, so that's the posuk in the Torah which teaches us that b'derech she'odam rotze leilech, he's allowed to continue that. Person wants really keen to do some great activity positively, some mitzvah, then he will be allowed to do it. The opportunity will come his way. I won't say opportunity knocks, but perhaps it shows how old I'm. But yeah, so the opportunity will come his way to be able to carry that out, and sadly, negatively as well. So that's the posuk in.
So can I just ask? So what did Kunfil go on? What did Bilam think at the beginning? So I understand when he went with them, he wanted to curse them. At the beginning, what was he? Was he thinking something different?
No, he was told go with them, but don't think. Please, your intention should not be that you're going there to curse. You're going there for some whatever reason is. Maybe your reason is you're going to get paid handsomely, and maybe you'll get away with the money. But don't think you should be going with, as Sam mentioned, as an arm, as a people together with them in totality, together with their intention. That you shouldn't do.
Then he
did do, and therefore by yeah. So that's the posuk that we saw in the Torah. Let's have a look here. As I take, okay. Next. So that's in the Torah. What about in the Nevi'im? Min HaNevi'im, we've got the same principle you'll find if you go to the prophets. What's the posuk in the prophets? Where are we up to? Here we are. Dichsiv, Ani Hashem Elokecha. This posuk taken from, I've got here Isaiah, Yeshaya, Memhe. We don't need, whoa. That was on the buzzer, as they say, before I'd finished the actual sentence. That was, very good indeed. Hashem, go alcho. Yeah, you'd really read this, I suppose. Hashem. Yeah. Ani Hashem Elokecha melamedcha lahoel, teaching you lahoel madrichacha b'derech chelech. I will allow you and guide you, allowed you b'derech, on the way that you want to go. I'll let you go. So melamedcha lahoel, a very good posuk there. instructing you, lahoil, to help or for your own benefit, lahoil, a madrichacha, leading you, bederech telech. So that's pretty clear, bederech telech. Have a look at Rashi on that posuk, bederech telech. Oh, no, I meant the Rashi in our, but back to our Gemara. Thank you very much, Peter. Calling you on a minute for the next, for the Ksuvim. Let's have a look here. Down with you. Yep. So that's very clear. The Rashi says in our Gemara, bederech telech, bederech asher tivchar leilech. The way that you want to go, you will be allowed to, I will even lead you. But everybody has a choice. They can change their mind, both positively and negatively. So that's from the, as I say, Yeshaya Nevi'im. The same principle, min haksuvim. You find the same principle from the writings, and that normally means Tehillim or Mishlei or Eov. This one is from Mishlei. As we turn to the Pasuk in Mishlei, Im la leitzim hu yolitz. So if you got that Pasuk, Peter, Mishlei Gimel, 334, Proverbs. Im la leitzim hu yolitz. Is that coming up?
Coming up.
Coming up. Thank you. Excellent. Proverbs. Very good indeed. 334. Of course, Proverbs full of thoughts and very much on behavior and thoughts. Im la leitzim hu yolitz. What's a late? We translate here as scoffers. Fine. At scoffers he scoffs. There you are. Im la leitzim hu yolitz v'la novim yitenchein. But no, it's the crucial one is the beginning. And well, actually both. But to lowly, he shows la novim from an anovim, yeah. Onov means a humble. Yitain chen, he will show or give grace. Now our Gemara is learning that slightly differently. Im la leitzim. Have a look at, well, we've got it in our Im la leitzim. Thank you, Peter. Let's have a look at our Gemara with our Rashi. So we turn back to Im la leitzim hu yolitz. Rashi says, look at this. This is the way he interpreted the Pasuk. This is all, don't forget the statement of Rab Huna on Rab Loza. Have a look at Rashi. Im la leitzim. Im la leitzim bo odom lehischabe. Very nice. If he wants to befriend and become close to scoffers, let's, who yolitz, he himself.
Steinsalt's translated as cynics.
Yeah.
If one seeks the cynics.
Yeah, indeed.
To be honest, Leitzonim are clowns. They use Leitzonim medical.
No, it is more the cynic. I mean, you're right. Yeah. Leitzon's a clown.
Leitzon.
A clown. What do you say to clown, Sam? You got any good words for clowns?
Yeah, Leitzonim Refuim are medical clowns.
No, I mean, that's right in modern Hebrew, but that isn't necessarily the original usage. I mean, these words, yeah.
And I think you'd actually would say that. You talk about, even in Yiddish, you talk about, as a late.
Mukyon.
Yeah, it means really, you're right, the word cynic's good. Cynic, well, the Steinsaltz, and all we saw here, scoffer. Making fun of. That's belittling people, scoffing and, joking. You're right. I mean, it can be used in a positive way, but normally late is a negative term. And that's really what it's saying here. If you want to befriend these leitzim, you'll be allowed to. Hu yolitz. And Rashi says there, ein ma'akrim biyodo. He will not be prevented. Yeah. Well, novin, if he wants to be close to the humble people, Yitain Chain, he himself will be able to give I suppose that's a translation we're giving here, although Rashi doesn't tell us. That you don't really need. Rashi is really focusing on the first part of that posuk rather than la'anovim. Could be if he wants to befriend humble people, he himself wants to be of that nature. Yitein Chaim, Hashem will give him mercy and chain as he carries that out. Okay.
I mean, isn't this Norman all in line with Habor Taher Batarinus and Habor,
Yes, it is, very much so. Good one. Very good indeed. Habor Taher, someone who wants to, who's keen, then he'll be allowed to do so. He'll give them that opportunity. And I think that's the point. Somebody who's really keen to do a particular act, let's say something very positive, he'll be given that opportunity. He's really looking, as we say, to carry out something, to be able to give them, or financially maybe he'll be given that opportunity to do something great. He wants to help other individuals, he'll be given that chance. It'll just come his way. He's very keen to attend a shiur. Well, he'll be given that opportunity. He's looking for, an opportunity, maybe, davening or whatever, and he'll be given that opportunity. And similarly in the negative as well. He won't be prevented. If somebody's keen to do something, then they will be allowed to do so. Let's just continue on the Gemara for a little bit. Omar Rav Huna. Going back to our topic, we're talking about going to Golus. Rotseach Shegolo. This Rotseach, he's called Rotseach because he did actually kill, albeit it was accidental. Rotseach Shegolo li'ir miklotoi u'metzo'oi goel hadom. This is talking, you'll see the Rashi here. U'metzo'oi goel hadom bederech bahalichosoi. On his way to going to Golus, right? It's not that he got to the city of refuge, remember, and then he leaves. That's coming up in another Mishnah. And in fact, that's picked up the little base here in the Goros Habach. If you want to see, it's Koloma. It's not that he's already got there. This is on his way, said back to our Gemara, and the Goel Adom, the one the nearest, it does mean the redeemer of the blood, really, is allowed to, and of course that's a great incentive to make sure that Rotzer gets there as quickly as possible. If he kills him, he is potter. Now, where do you see that? Kosovar, this is on the way, he hasn't got to Ori Miklot yet. Once he's got to Ori Miklot, we'll see. Look at this. Kosovar v'lo ein mishpot. I'm going to have to come back to this, I think. V'lo ein mishpat moves b'goel hadom hu dichsiv. What does that mean? If I can call upon you, Peter, last time for tonight. Devorim Yud Tes Vov. Now let's see how it's translated here. Thank you. Penyidov. So the apostle is telling me, get off there as quickly as you can. Go off to one of the cities of Ori Miklot, because pen in lest, really, that's the best translation. Lest Yudov Goel Adom Achri Yotzech, V'lo ein mishpat moves. That's the word we're focusing on. That lo goes back to the Goel Adom. Penyida, perhaps the Goel Adom will pursue him, right? So therefore, get there as quickly as you can. V'hikol nefesh, right? Below, and this Goel Adom will not be chayav misa. Ein mishpat moves. The judgment. That's what it's saying here. Different to the translation you've got here. Yet he did not incur the death penalty. Sure. You'd normally think, and there will be people, not for tonight, who learn that V'lo ein mishpat moves is actually talking about the Rotzeach himself. You with me? V'lo ein mishpat moves, he doesn't deserve the death penalty because, after all, it was accidental. But how we're learning this, and I say we'll have to come back to this, below ein mishpat moves means to him, goes right back to the beginning of the posuk, penyid of Goel Adom, and he might kill him, below ein mishpat moves. he will not be chayiv mishpat moves, the goel adom, for killing the Rotzeach. That is the first way we'll stop here of learning this Gemara.
Can I just ask, sorry, a quick question on the form, this referencing to Nevi'im and Ketuvim,
yes,
in addition to Torah. I mean, that's unusual. I don't. Is it? Well, I don't know. I mean, how commonly do you see that? Because you don't really need.
Oh, you're right. You don't.
From...
Good point. Very good point. We do find that. I know it's at the end of davening and on Motzei Shabbos, and people are in perhaps a hurry. If you look at V'yitzen Lecha, the Amsonusa Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Dov Zeh Kosuv B'Torah V'Shonu B'Nevim U'Meshulash B'Ktuvim. So you do find that principle. It's if you can find, of course, you're right, you don't need a proof from anywhere else, but it's really powerful if you can find the same comment made, the same idea in Torah, Nevi'im, and Kesuvim. That's, it's not just, the fact that it comes up in all three places shows how important the idea is.
Right, but it's nice when it works, but there must be many cases.
Oh, you're right.
Where it's not, because it's not quoted.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the fact that it does come up in three places means it's, in fact, perhaps more important. It's hard to say more important, less important. More of an important lesson that we should be learning. That's the point. If it occurs everywhere, not that, as you're absolutely right, you don't need it everywhere, but it shows the importance of this principle. So this is a very important principle, as mentioned before. Abolataya, as Mervyn mentioned, Abolataya, those people who want to, they're given that opportunity. So, someone who's keen, say, well, just a shame, it never came my way. It will come your way if you're very keen to be able to do something, hopefully on the positive way.
And just on Hebrew, Mervyn was right. Just looked it up. Te'una is from the same root, but it's a modern word that bialik apparently.
What are you talking about? The word of
Te'una, accident. It's not it's a modern derived word that the poet Bialik.
Oh, right. You wanted this
apparently,
word. It means it means it's the other way around. Yeah.
Event. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen. Good to see you all. Let's just say a capital, a chapter, please. We're still a long way to go, as we know, but I mean, we have to say at the same time, Baruch Hashem, on the past, what's been happening. But let's say there's still, as we know, more constantly. Yes, we're Moide al ha'ovar and Mispalel al ha'osid, and that's constant. We can. Peter, call upon you. Dulcet tones and all. Let's have a look. Thank you. Shiur Lamalois. Al Horim Me'in
Yovo Ezri Me'im Adonai Osei Shomayim V'Oretz Yitain Lamot Raglecho Ayunun Shomerecho Inelo Shomer Yisroel Adonai Shomerecho Adonai Zecho Ad Yad Yirecho Yom HaShemesh Lo Yakeko Yorei Yachmael Adonai Yishurecho Mikol Ra Yishmor Nafshecho Adonai Yishmor Zechehu Vorecho Me'atom V'yad
Achenu kol Beis Yisrael Anusunim Matzorah Uvashivyo O'im Dim Bein Ba'yom Avein Ba'yaboshem Akim Menachim Aleim Yotzim Mitzorah Levocha U'Me'afei Olam Shibu Ligula Hashlo Ba'Gola U'Bizman Kori V'Noim Amen. Let's also remember, please, in the Yortzeit last week, Sylvain, it was his Yortzeit last week. We remember very fond memories indeed. Extremely regular member, I think, from the beginning of when I started. But so, yeah, very much he should continue being a Meilit Tziyosha for the whole of Klal Yisrael, which he loved, Eretz Yisrael and Bnei Yisrael, and the world generally looking for a place of shalom. For sure, Meilit Tziyosha, the love that he had for, as I say, for Eretz Yisrael, Klal Yisrael, world generally. And thinking of him, and Emes Hashem, let's hope, as we say, so many things they say here, a good Chodesh, we say Chodesh Tov. I'm sure there's a couple of other languages you can come up with, but we can say a good month. There we are. So with that, gentlemen, yes, a Chodesh Tov, Shabbat. As Sammy, you can repeat in case people missed what you said at the beginning. Shabbat.
Yeah, Besorot Tovot.
Thank you, Sammy. With that, we will leave you for tonight.